guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Jadeveon Clowney, who is still a free agent, still there for the taking. It's pretty shocking that we're towards the end of May now. He still does not have a home. So we're going to talk about why he's still a free agent and some possible destinations for him.
Yeah, like you said, Ryan, I don't understand why he, of all people, in this free agency is still out there, but it seemed like he was asking for a lot of money at the beginning of this, and that's slowly been declining as time has gone on, and it's only a matter of time before a team finds him and scoops him up.
Yeah.
This is a guy that, at this point, he's demanding a lot of money because he has had some success. He had some success with the Texans. Ryan knows that firsthand as a Texans fan when he was there. He saw what Jadeveon Clowney did for that team. And then with the Seahawks, he wasn't constantly great. I don't have his stats pulled up right next to me for each game, so I couldn't tell you for sure. But definitely there were some games where Clowney went off. There were some games where he was kind of silent. One of the games that he went off was the Thursday night game. I think it was the Seahawks. And who else was it? I should know this.
The Vikings? Are we talking about the Vikings?
No, I'm not talking about the Vikings. It popped out of my head. I'll think of it later in the video, but he didn't have a good game that game. Nonetheless, so that's my point.
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good point. The first off, I think we should talk about the possibility of the fact that Jadeveon goes back to where he was last year, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. I believe they're still in talks about it. As the money goes down, I think they said, Jadeveon, we have a price for you. It's lower than you want. If it gets down to there, we can possibly bring you back to the team. I don't know what the price was, but I think there is definitely a possibility it gets down to the price they want.
And I think that's a very legitimate possibility because even though you may think, well, if he was just going to go back there, wouldn't have happened already. I think the two sides have kind of drifted apart a little bit, but as this process kind of dragged on and there's still no offer, no change in Clowney's asking price, Seattle might just call back again and say, hey, we still have this need at edge rusher, we'd love to have you back, but for this price, because Seattle, they could have taken AJ Epinesa or Yetur Gross-Matos in the first round of the draft. They were both there, but instead they did a Seahawks move and took Jordan Brooks. But that goes to show that they still have a need at the edge rusher position, in my opinion. Hey, why not the guy that you just had today being Clowney? I still think that both sides should be open-minded into a potential reunion.
Just to fill in information, I'll add to your point. The second, it was the 49ers Seahawks game that I was referencing earlier. I just remembered that the 49ers existed in my head. Anyways, to add on to Ryan's point about the possibility of going back to Seattle Seahawks, as of March 21st, I hope this is of 2020. It is 2020. Actually, it was up there April 9th, 2020. So somewhat recently, it says that the Seahawks have offered the Pro Bowl defensive tackle, three-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle, $18.5 million per year. That is what the deal would be. There might be some benefits to that as well. So that's a deal that I'm seeing. And I'm not a huge numbers guy with NFL. I don't know how much people are demanding for certain positions. But to me, that seems like a decent amount of money.
I mean, that definitely is a decent amount of money.
I'd take that.
I think we'd all take that. But I think Jadeveon's a guy that really thinks he deserves his money, but his time with the Seahawks, he had that one good game against the Vikings where everyone saw it and said, oh, he might be getting paid, and then his stock seemed to drop a little bit. He didn't have the year he expected in Seattle, but there's still time in his career. He was picked very early in the draft for a reason.
Mm-hmm. And then another point about Clowney, and especially with the times that we're in, this is probably the reason why he has not been picked up yet, is because his injury history as of a guy that was usually, it started on the Texans. They always like to get injured on that team for some reason. Sorry, Texans, your players just like to get injured. But he does have the injury problems, and with the COVID-19 virus going on right now, it's hard to get these physicals on these players. No team wants to go out there and take a risk on a guy that might not be completely healthy. You don't want to go out there and pay a guy so much money when he might get hurt early in the season, not play and help the team at all. So they're being very cautious. I think that it's hard to go after Clowney right now because of the situation he's in. I think that if we were in the situation, he would be signed by now. And it's very weird to think that someone in general, but even if someone of Clowney's caliber of play is still out there in free agency right now.
Yeah, and you mentioned the injuries. That is a very good point because whether it's draft prospects or for current free agents or pretty much anything in any sport, injury history is always a thing that teams look at. And some teams more than others, they really are a cause for concern. And you think, he was drafted number 1 overall back in 2014. He did have some very big injuries in the early years of his career. Missed a lot of playing time with the Texans. Some thought he was going to be the next boss, but then he was able to stay healthy a little bit towards the end of his time. He really started to make an impact. He was able to stay healthy. Then eventually got traded to Seattle, had a solid year there. So even though the injuries were a little bit ago earlier in his career, they still happened. They're still a concern. So I think that's a great point.
Yeah, it is, and I do want to talk about the possibility that there is a chance Jadeveon Clowney wants to go back to Houston. We could throw that out right now. He's currently training in Houston, I believe, in this offseason. Yeah, he probably does have a house there, but I wouldn't be surprised once again if the price drops low enough, the Texans could try and get maybe what they wish they could have signed him for before he traded them away. But maybe there's still some saltiness there on Jadevion's side. I don't really know. But I do want to throw that as well.
Well, I think that right now Bill O'Brien is trying to work out a trade for this, but he doesn't know that he's a free agent, so he can't go out and take him. That's just a Bill O'Brien move.
Yeah, that's definitely. You're probably right about that, Jordan.
We got to take our shots at Bill
very
O'Brien.
Accurate.
We can do that because Ryan's a Texans fan and he does it himself, so he gives us permission.
Yes. If Ryan can make fun of the Texans, we have the right to make fun of the Texans.
All yes, right. That's correct.
There is one more important thing that I want to talk about when talking about Jadeveon Clowney and this whole situation. 2 more teams we have to throw out there are the Browns and the Titans. Today, which is Monday. Video is not coming out till Wednesday. So on Monday, Charles Robinson he's a senior writer for Yahoo Sports. Since 2004, he went on the Pat McAfee show today, and he talked about the Jadeveon Clowney situation, and he said that the Browns are interested in signing him long-term, and also the Titans are definitely in the conversation for maybe a shorter deal if Clowney believes in himself to go make another prove-it deal. But right now, he feels that the Browns are the favorite for this, and that would be a great defense if they are able to snag him up.
The Browns.
Yeah, well, I hope he doesn't go to Tennessee because if he's coming back to the AFC South, I want it to be right back in Houston where he was less than a year ago. I'd love to have him back in Houston. He was great once he was healthy. But as far as the Browns and the Titans, 2 teams in different situations. The Browns still have a lot to prove. There's been the hype, but they haven't put it all together yet. And the Titans, they think they can win now, so I think that's why they're thinking more short term. Because they want to say, hey, we think if we have a championship window, we think we can win now with this coaching staff and this roster. Come hop on. Maybe you're that missing piece. Maybe you can take our defense over the top and into the Super Bowl. I think that's Tennessee's mentality. But Cleveland is saying, hey, we've got some young guys on this defense. We still might have a few more years to we're a true Super Bowl contender, but we want you to be a part of that process. So 2 different types of kind of mentalities towards Clowney there.
Yeah, for sure.
And then 2 more teams I just want to throw out there. One of them is the Philadelphia Eagles. They've had almost no pass rush as of recently, so they definitely want to get Jadeveon Clowney in there to help out that defense. That defense is really just a weak point of that Eagles team right now, so that would definitely help them. Another team is the Colts. They do have Darius Leonard to get some pass rush, but he does play the linebacker position, so he's not always blitzing in, so they could definitely use him as well. And the Colts have a lot of cap space as well. Not sure how much they spend in free agency.
Oh, they have plenty, yeah.
They still have plenty, though.
They got plenty.
That's definitely one as well. If Clowney wants a lot of money, the Colts can definitely provide him with that, and they could definitely use some pass rush as well to help out that team that is in win-now mode, it seems like.
So, as you can tell, if you got this far, there are plenty of opportunities for Jadeveon to go, and he seems to be patient. Another thing Charles Robinson said was that he's fine with waiting this out, waiting for this whole virus thing to end so he could find the right spot for him. And he feels like he has a price that he's okay with and that teams are willing to sign him for. Maybe not what he wanted, but he probably understands, which if I was him, I would still be trying to get that 1 year shorter deal because I think he can have a 15, 16 sack season and really light it up. Unfortunately, that didn't happen in Seattle, like I said earlier. But he seems to have supreme confidence in himself.
Yeah.
So, I think that is going to wrap it up. We did want to mention this. We made a bunch of free agent videos while that was happening for new signings. And Jadeveon was never a guy we talked about because nothing ever happened with him. It is March 25th on the day we're making this, the 27th as you are probably seeing this.
It's May, not March.
Yeah,
May 27th?
Yeah, something within that.
Yeah.
I
M27. But anyways, that's the situation we're in. We wanted to talk about it on May 25th. So thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and with that, we will see you guys later.
See ya.